Hi guys, welcome to this webinar. Hi all of you.
Hello, everyone.
Hi guys. People are still joining, so let's take a couple of minutes for all attendees to join the webinar and we will begin.
We would like to say that we are really glad you joined our webinar. We hope that this time will be for you very insightful, and we will try our best to make it valuable and to provide and to share some very interesting information.
Okay, yeah, people are still joining, so let's give it a minute and we will begin.
While people are joining, I would like just to briefly say that today we are going to talk about a very important topic for the retail business, because we work as Lifia company, we work with retail mainly, and we know a lot about what was going on. We work in different regions, and that gives us a comprehensive understanding of how global retail market works, what are the trends, and so on. And today's topic about the merchandising management, it's an important one because the shelf is the way how the retailer communicates with the customer, and depending on what products on the shelf, in what quantity, it influences a lot and the sales, it influences the customer loyalty and all KPIs of the retail business.
Okay, Anna, yeah, I see we have almost everyone on board and we can start. So guys, yeah, thank you for joining one more time. Please feel free to send your questions to the chat, and the topic of our webinar today is merchandising management. So we can start on this point. Okay, let's go, Anna. So yeah, as you can see, there is me, Mark, and there is Anna. Anna is the head of business development. So there will be two of us conducting this webinar today, and we are welcoming all of you in here. So just a few words about us, guys. So we have been working with different retailers for more than 15 years, and currently we have projects in 17 countries. And we implemented more than 160 projects. And at the moment, our team contains around 100 employees. The few words about our customers. So currently we have projects in 17 countries, as I mentioned, and our background, like mostly in grocery retail, health and beauty, convenience stores, supermarkets, but we also had a wide experience working with electronics, oil and gas, DIY, and toy retailers. Just a little bit more information about our products. So Lifia as a platform that automates the different area of supply chain with the help of our AI and machine learning. And our platform itself consists at the moment four modules. And the first module is our inventory optimization. This module helps us to automate the replenishment processes, like both at the level of your stores and central warehouses. And this module as well consists the powerful BI module in order to help your demand planners to identify some bottlenecks in your inventory processes. Our promotion intelligence is the solution that intended to manage all of your promotion activities and forecast all the sales for the promotion periods. And our shelf efficiency, it helps us to cover like end-to-end merchandising processes, starting like from the planogram creation to its execution and analysis of your planogram. And this model also like helps us to create the detailized floor plan, put the equipment on the floor plan, after that create the detailized planogram and control and execute all of the processes with the help of our mobile application. And this model as well have a deep and powerful analytical block as well. And our brand new solution is Assortment Performance. Is the solution that allows you to manage all the assortments, create assortment metrics, introduce and display new products, aggregate store by format automatically, track analytics, and there is as well like a deep, more powerful details included in Assortment Performance as well.
Yeah, so I will thank you, Mark, for introducing our company and briefly talking about what we are doing and what we are passionate about. So I just wanted to add that what we are going to talk about today will be based on our experience of working and implementing the solution for the shelf efficiency that covers the end-to-end merchandising process. So let's start. We are going to talk about today about the merchandising management audit. So when it is required, what are the parts of the audit, and what is the background for the audit. So when the first part is we are going to cover when is actually this audit is needed and required. So first of all, when there is like no structure in the planogramming process, there is some mess on the shelf, so some displays in unpredictable places on the store, on the floor, somewhere on the floor, but not on the shelf. When there are some empty spaces on the shelf, when no one knows who is responsible for that, when store managers do their own decisions on what should be on the shelf, when, for example, the promo layout is much smaller than the regular layout, and so on. The second part, when that is a sign for us when this merchandising management audit is needed, is when there are some changes in the company's organizational structure. When some new people are coming, they would like to know more about what is going on, who is responsible for that, and such kind of things. And where there are some changes, and to make sure that there will be people who are responsible for this process and who know how to do this process. Of course, one of the main signs for this merchandising audit is that when we lose our sales and we lose our profitability. So that means that if we have some decrease in sales, it means that there are not right product on the shelf, that customer might not be found in what they are looking for. So at the same time, we lose customer loyalty, and of course that brings us some decrease in sales. So we should definitely keep track of that and use it as a sign for us to go deeply into analysis of the merchandising processes. The next part, and actually it's one of the main triggers when customers come to us as LIFO with the requirement for the business processes automation, is when the business is going to scale, and or some new project is launched, some new format of the stores, or some rebranding of the stores, and so on. So that's why we need to understand and to structure business processes, to automate them, to set them up to some certain level of efficiency before and to make sure that it works well, and it works well before we go into the scaling processes. And of course before the automation, because if we automate, there will be no reason to automate some current process without proper analysis how it is done, without the proper, first of all, setup of business process, and only after that we can go to the automation. So let's talk about just a couple of words why this audit is needed and required. So first of all, we need this audit to identify some weak spots in the merchandising management. So to if we know where the problem is, we will know, and we can come up with some ways how to solve this problem. Secondly, of course, to evaluate the efficiency of the shelf management, because as I mentioned in the beginning, shelf is the main place and main main way how the retailer communicates with the customer. So we should make sure that our shelf looks good, that we have the product that should be on the shelf, that we have them in the right quantity, in the right position, and so on. And one of the the next steps and the next levels of the audit and the next steps after this audit is to introduce introduce and to set up some merchandising standards inside the company. So to create and to introduce some logic on how the decisions should be made about the layout, about making the planogram, about like how the planogram should look like, how the communication process should look like, and such kind of things. And of course, like all of the parts that we talked about, they can bring retailer to the new level of competitiveness because there is really high competition in the retail market. Some big players are entering the market, and we need to stay and stay at a high level of competitiveness. So that's why this merchandising audit, it can bring us to the new level of the efficiency in the merchandising. So to make sure that merchandising process works efficiently, we suggest the following way how it should be done. So we created this circle, or we call it the end-to-end merchandising process, and we think that only in this way we can ensure that first of all we are doing the right planogram. Secondly, we are creating the right planograms in the central office. Secondly, that we are communicating this planogram to the level of the store in the way that is comfortable for the store manager. So we do that with the help of the mobile application. Some companies do that through some links, web links, or through some pictures in the Excel format, or just printing the picture. But the next step should be that not only to communicate, because we can create the planogram in the central office, communicate it, but not control that this is executed, this planogram is executed and the level of the store, and the store manager actually did and renewed the layout. So we should have some tools to be able to control this process. And of course, on the top of that, we need to make the ongoing analysis of the efficiency of the planogram, on making sure that, for example, the sales changed, we need to update the planogram, or we introduce new items. So all the time we need to analyze the efficiency and to renew the planogram based on the new standards, new sales. So let's talk about some challenges that can appear in the during the process of the planogram creation. So first of all, one of the challenge and what we face during pre-sale stage with our customers is that there are no structure, no corporate standard on how to build a planogram. So there is no logic on the level of the central office, no rules how the planogram should be created. And of course, these rules, they should be in place, and according to the rules, the category manager or the planogram manager, whoever is responsible for the planogram creation, should create the planogram. As a result, not usually, but often we face with the situation when the store managers are responsible for that. They have they have no guideline, they have no rule how to make the planogram, and they just do it on their own perspective. And of course, we understand that, that can work when the company has 3 or 4 stores, but definitely it cannot work when the company has 50 or 100 stores. So we need to, because we need to make sure that our stores, they look in the same way, that there is some logic. If the customer will go to the store in one region and he will see the same layout, the same, he will recognize the store. And the same if he will go to another region, he can also recognize this store and this brand. So it also, all of these factors, they are influencing the customer loyalty, and they influencing the efficiency of the merchandising process. The next one important thing is that often there is some poor assortment management in the ERP system. So in some companies, the assortment matrices are absent, or they are not actual. So we don't know what is the actual assortment matrix for each particular store or for each particular format, if we are making the clusterization and assortment matrices for the format. and sometimes we are not updating. And how this process should look like is that there should be clear assortment matrices for the stores, for the each particular store, for the store format. So to make sure that we are making the layout, we are making the replenishment process based on the assortment matrix, so the actual assortment for each particular store. And of course, the assortment rotation is really high, especially in the grocery retail. So we need to sometimes, usually the new items are introduced as the replacement of the old one. So it happens to be a mess if the planogram management, category management doesn't know the actual assortment matrix for the store. And of course, there is a high problem in the in human resources, because a lot of people are involved in that. And if the planograms are made manually, if there is no tool on the level of the retail business that helps to create this planogram, helps to manage this planogram, it is very time consuming to do that and to manage this this merchandising. So of course, there's a lack of first of all, it's a lack of human resources, but even if we have human resources to do that, still there is not this level of efficiency if we don't have any kind of tool introduced. And there are a lot of tools, including ours, that allow us to create the planogram in the automatic ways, saving the time of the human resources and having, for example, just 1 or 2 people who are managing this process and keeping the track of the current stage of the planogram creation, planogram communication. Of course, it's always important to understand how much space we have for each particular category, how much space we have in general in linear meters, how much space is occupied by each SKU, by each category, by each subcategory. And if we don't have the tool, if we have these processes manually somewhere in Excel files, in Excel spreadsheets, of course, it's very hard to measure it. So let's talk about one of the biggest challenges that we think and we face on the retailer side is the communication of the planogram to the store. So because the one thing is just to create the planogram in the central office, it can be beautiful, it can look good, but the other thing to make sure that the store managers, they will do the layout according to the planogram. So according to the statistics, the 68% of the retailers, they need in average 8 weeks to create the planogram, distribute the planogram, and execute the planogram throughout the whole retail chain, because they are using some Excel tools. Some of them are using category-based planograms, but not the item-based planogram. So it takes really a lot of time. And of course, when the business is scaling, it's even more time consuming, and there are some delays in the new store openings and so on. The second challenge is that there is no control of the planogram execution. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the planogram can be created, it can be communicated even to the store manager in the form of the picture, in the form of the Excel table, but we don't have the tools to make sure that this planogram was executed by the store manager. Maybe there are some, a lot of chats, sometimes we don't know who exactly is responsible for that, whose task is it to renew the planogram, and people just got lost in this process, and there's no structure in it, and that's why it's very hard to make sure that the planogram is actually implemented. And of course, it leads to such bad consequences as the empty stocks or overstock shelf, when we see some packs of water, for example, in the middle of the store, and so on. And of course, and one of the biggest issue here is that when category managers are working with the assortment, they have some certain terms that are agreed with the suppliers or the vendors about how their products should be presented on the shelf. For example, that they should occupy some certain percentage of the shelf, they should occupy some space in the shelf, some particular shelf, and so on. If we don't have the tool, it is very challenging to make sure that we and we comply all of the terms with our suppliers. Of course, the next part is very important one. We are in Lifeo, we actually fans of analytics in all our solutions, because we think that all the routine work, it should be done by the tools, but the main aim of people, the main aim of specialists on the retailer side is to analyze make the ongoing analysis all the time on the efficiency of all of the processes. And as people say that what's get measured gets managed. So it means that if we know the numbers, if we know the problem is, if we analyze that gives us the opportunity to fix that and to improve this process. Analytics is a very necessary and very inevitable part of the merchandising process, because we need to not only to make sure that the planogram looks good, but we need to make sure that we use our space on 100%. So with that, we have the products that bring us the sales. One of the issues also, like in regards to the absence of the tools, and that there are no KPIs for people who are dealing with the planogram. So there are no no KPIs, that is no responsibility that if the layout is not in compliance with the digital planogram, that there is no KPI that will be responsible for and will control the numbers of the maximum actual assortment on the shelf, so that when we are rotating the assortment, when we have the new items, we need to make sure that it takes a really short period of time to place these items on the shelf, and vice versa, that we should delete the old items on the shelf. And of course, it's one of the important KPIs is the efficiency of the layout. So to make sure that we have the A category, for example, on the shelves, especially on the golden shelves, that we have the top movers on the shelf, and the majority of the goods on the shelf are the top movers. One of the important metrics in the merchandising process is to understand the return from 1 meter or 1 facing. So why we need that? Because when we are analyzing the planogram on the retail side, we notice a lot that okay, the planogram might be looking good, but there are some, for example, big number of facings for some item that doesn't bring us a lot of sales. And vice versa, there are some items that are presented in the shelf like less, maybe just 1 item, but it brings us a lot of sales. So we need to make sure that this will be the return rate will be balanced, so that the presence of the SKU on the shelf should be on the direct ratio with the percentage in the sales that it brings to our company. We created and we wrote an article on how the merchandising department should look like in terms of the organizational structure. So please feel free to scan the QR code here, and you will get directly to this article, and we'll be able to read this article. Of course, we will share while you are taking your mobile phones and scanning, I will mention that, of course, we will share the recording of this webinar with you, so you will be able to get back to it, but still, if it's more convenient, you can do it right now. With this being said, I will just remind about this circle of the planogram creation, and we'll give the word to Mark to tell so that we can share how we deal with this process in Lifeo. We will quickly share the solution and how we deal with that inside the Lifeo solution, Lifeo platform. So Mark,
thank you, Anna. Thank you. Yeah, it was interesting. It's productive. Thank you. It was a lot of information. So yeah, guys, what you can see here, that's our floor plan. So we took as an example the store number 8, the Food City in here. So you see the floor plan of our store. And what we want to cover for you, it's first the analytics, of course. But before that, I just want to specify that you will be able to see all of the equipment that is currently placed on your store. You can move the equipment all around your store. So it's pretty flexible part that you can play around, just go and create multiple equipments here and put them on the floor plan. So what Anna doing right now, she went to the analytical part. So first of all, we will need to set up the time period for which analytic we need to build it up for. So we will just go ahead, take like from January 1st, and then we will upload the analytic. There are multiple analytics available right now, but the most significant one, I would say, that is our heat map. So what you see in here, there is a highlighted area by red dark color. And this meaning that the customer flow and the customers are buying from that part of the store most of the time. And you see there is a light blue colors that are highlighted. That meaning that this part of the store are not performing really well. So based on that, what was being said before, maybe we can make some conclusions and maybe we can do some changes. Maybe we can move around the equipment. And by this way, we will move the customer around our store more so they can buy more and bring you more profits. So we will go to detailized planogram right now. Let's give it a second. So first of all, yeah, of course, we will be able to see all of the details about our like SKUs, all of the like vendor code, barcode, the dimensions, the picture of our SKU, the price, the balance, the location as well. So the first thing being said, just to be able to like specify one feature, Anna, can you please open the 3D cube first? I want to specify on that because sometimes the floor, like the back office that are creating the planogram, they are not able to see how the planogram is supposed to look like at the store. So there is a feature for us. There's a 3D cube that you will be able to see, like move it all around the equipment and see if there are any empty spaces or like or there is some changes that needed to be done from our side as well. That's just a brief feature for us. So what we want to cover in here, that's our analytics from our detailized planogram. So what we will do, we will set up the period of date that needed to be seen in the analytic. We will upload all the analytics in here. And in this point, Anna just highlighted like ABC selling price. So you will be able to understand like which categories are A sellers, which categories that B there will be B sellers category. That's a pretty standardized report for the retailers. And there is as well like C category that will be highlighted by red color. So maybe we can replace them. Maybe we can do some changes to get better profits for the equipment itself. So yeah, there is a possibility to upload all the analytics part for us. Okay, there is as well multiple reports available in here, but right now you're able to see the sales by selling price, and we see that this Simply Orange pulp-free juice that is highlighted by dark orange, this SKU have a better like good price. So this SKU bringing us much more value than all of the SKUs. By this report, you will be able also to understand like maybe there is some changes needed to be done to this planogram, or maybe we can do some relocations on it. And there is a possibility yet to see the full picture based on our analytic from the planogram. So right now, we will make some changes for our planogram. We will like reduce, or we will increase the amount of these juices and reduce the amount of these juices. So after that, we will publish the planogram. And as Anna was saying before, like there is a cycle of our planogram, and it's going to the distribution right now. So the task was published and it was sent to the store already. So right now, we will just show you how the execution look like from our mobile application. Let's just give it a second. We will just briefly connect from the iPhone and show you our mobile app.
Sorry, just a second.
Yeah, take your time.
Our Lithio team, can you please make me the host from the mobile application? Actually, maybe I can do it by myself.
It's done. Yeah, so we can try to share.
Okay. Let me try it one more time. Yeah.
Okay, so right now, as being said, we will present you our mobile application, and let's give it a second. So right now, Emma, as we are as a super admin, we are able to see all of the stores in our mobile app. But if there is any like restriction that's needed to be set, it like this person A will be responsible for the store A, they will be only able to see the one store. So what you can see, guys, in front of you in here. So that's our task management, and there is a new task, a completed task, empty task, expired task, or task in progress. So that's when the store manager like starting the workday, and he will be able to open the application and he see that he got one new task. So we will deep dive into the task.
Sorry, Mark, I would just like to bump in here and add that, like kind of to make summary and to make it clear that with the help of the mobile app, that's how we ensure the proper communication of the planogram with the stores, because of course it can be done in the system with just printing the planogram, with sending by the email, sending the link and so on. But we think that it's a bit of a obsolete way, but the mobile application is more convenient. It's paperless, and it's more like eco-friendly and so on. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Anna. Yeah, so in here, we see the task that was coming from the back office. So first of all, yeah, we will open the planogram, as well as for our like back office, we will be able to see all the detailized SKU with the name of the SKU, with all of the details. After that, we will just go ahead, open our like, there is like all the details about our SKUs. After that, we will be able to see the list that all of the SKUs that currently presented on this planogram, with all of the details in here. There is some changes that needed to be done from our side. So we see that the actions that are required, for example, to add the items or to remove the items. And there is as well a history of who was working before with this planogram. So we see Anna or Hector, or there is like multiple users that were responsible for that. They was working with the planogram. So we will go back. Let's imagine like we are currently at the store. We did everything from our side. And right now we need to show the back office that everything was changed from our side. So we open the phone camera and we just take a picture on it. And let's upload the photo. And there is a possibility for us to just send a message to the back office saying like, hi, Jack, or hi, Mark, everything was done from our side. Can you just please check it and let us know if everything looks good? So we send the photo and we send the message all together. And after that, we will just jump back to our back office side and show you guys like how we are able to see that everything was made from the store, that the task was completed. While Anna resharing, just want to mention, if you have like some questions, just send them to the chat, by the way. And in here, so what Anna did right now, she opened like the picture that was coming from the store manager. So we can simply open the back application in the back office, and we will be able to see and compare it to the real live planogram. And by this way, we will be able to see that everything was made from our side. So there is a second way. How can we do it? Can you just please go to the menu? After that, to our dashboard, then the task management. And there is a specification in here, because for example, if you will have like multiple stores, you will be able to see all of the stores based on the task, and there will be a deviation based on like expired task, new task, completed task. It will be divided for our users, and we will go like, for example, to the completed task. And by this way, if you just go to the completed task on the right, just here, thank you. And we will be able to see that there is completed tasks that were coming from our side, like from Juices or Pepsi planograms, or multiple names of the planogram, and the user that was completed this task. So that's the part about our control and execution of the planogram. But as Anna mentioned before, in Leafier, we are really in love with the reporting part. So what we will do right now, we will just show you our visual reports because we have a bunch of them, and let's just give it a second. So we will set up a period of time, and before to explain you like all of the details in here, let me just navigate you like little by little, what do we have in here. So first of all, our system consists different 8 reports. It's a report like for like, data like for like, assortment report, balances report, phase change and recommendation report, return rate report, layout structure, and the calculation of efficiency. So right now, guys, you're able to see like-for-like reports. And I would say that the purpose of this report is to analyze and changes in key metrics and sales, efficiency of layouts, and stock of your items. This report consists itself of 3 parts. So the first part is of report, the diagram that showing us the dynamics of all indices analyzed in this report on the left side. The second part of the report, the diagram that impact on the dynamics. And on the third part of the report, you will be able to see the key figure blocks, like summary figure for the main period and the growth relatives to the period and comparison in the different deltas. So there is delta on your sales, delta on profits, delta on sales per meter, on profit per meter, and for example, our inventory turnover or stock in days. So everything will be available in this like-for-like report. And before jumping, before jumping to the next one, we will set up, the system will always highlight you what you need to do. So Anna just picked the analysis section, and there is a second part of our report. So this report contains 2 tables, like with valuable indicators and absolute growth. So you will be able to see based on your planogram, like all of the deltas that will be summarized in here in a big file with all the percentages divided by different deltas. So the second part of our reports, we will need to set up the indicators like based on our sales. After that, we will go back to the facts, and we will be able to see the deltas based on like sales, delta on sales, or like just delta on sales and percentages. And Anna, can you just close this report and go to the second part of it? Okay, so the facts by period, that's the second part of our report that you will be able to see like based on our planogram or the brand or the exact SKU that you want to see in here. But this digits that you see in front of you, that's in a value, in a money, in currency, like for each specific customer. So there is a multiple parts like on profit, on sales, on the profit per meter, turnover, inventory turnover. So this report is pretty flexible as well, and it has like a wide range of different possibilities what you can see in this report. So our third report, it's our assortment report. And I would say, guys, that the purpose of this report is to analyze the placed or unplaced assortments on the planograms and check the items that needed to be removed from the planogram or like in a different way that needed to be added to the planogram, because sometimes there is like SKUs that are currently like that you currently have them in your assortment metrics, but they are not presented in your floor plan. So this report is consisting of 2 parts. And I would say the first part of the report, the information of the dashboard related to the new assortment. On top, you are able to see there is like different assortments, the number of unplaced active items that we have. And the second part of this report will help us to see the dashboard that related to like different irrelevant assortment that needed to be removed from our current planograms. So after that, you will be able to open the circle, for example. Can you just go to the next one? And you will be able to see the different categories. What do we have in here based on the SKUs? So in this case, we see like the, for example, animal products that needed to be removed added to the floor plan. It's 1,600 of products in this way.
I would also like to add here that with the help of this reporting, we can also set up the KPIs for the planogram management. So for example, for the planogram people, for the category managers, for example, to keep the share of unplaced items. So we talked about the KPI, for example, it should be like not more than 10%. So ideally, it should be close to 0.
Yeah, thank you for the detail. So the fourth report, it's our balances report. And in here, as we see, the system is already highlighted, like what do we need to do? We need to set up the store that we want to see in here. So let me just briefly give you the explanation of this report. So this report allows us to analyze the planogram fill-in according to the balances history by width facing and by stock that you currently have. So this report consists itself of 4 parts. And here you will be able to see the fill rate by planograms that divided by facing width. After that, you will be also able to see the chart with a visualization that is currently possible to view by the following section, by like shop, planogram, item group, and so on. And on the right side, you will be able to see like, you will be able to see the occupation of the shelf by each specific shelf that we currently have in here. And there is a bottom stock that help you to understand like the planogram fill-in by facing with stock of balances. Because, for example, I will just give you more detail on this report. So, for example, you see on this shelf, on this low alcohol shelf, we have a planogram that is like this shelf number 2 is currently fulfilled by 90%. So it's a good KPIs in here, and we don't need to pay more attention to it. But if we will go to the beer planogram and we will see the shelf number 1, or even like in here, the low alcohol, the shelf number 6, it's only fulfilled by 47.6%. So that's meaning that we are losing the money. We have maybe some empty spaces on the shelf, and maybe we need to fill it more with more SKUs. So that's the purpose of this report. The next report, guys, it's our facing change recommendation. And I would say that, first of all, we need to set up everything that the system will give you the like some details that what do you want to set it up in here to be able to see this facing change recommendation report. And I would say like that the purpose of this report is to analyze the recommendation for increasing or decreasing facing in your planograms, or like format planograms or multiple planograms based on the return rate. So this report helps us to gain like some recommendation to modify the number of facings based on the sales metrics. And this report consists like of 2 displays, table with a recommendation with for changing that needed to be done from our side. And the second part of the diagram helps us to understand and share in the layout and the share in the sales in a different way. So the green color in here in this report indicates the field which are recommended to increase by our facings. And the red one helps us to understand that which facings needed to be decreased. So this report as well is a pretty flexible one, and you will be able to see all of the details like sales dynamics, like facing change recommendations, like return rate on a specific item in our case. And there is like different deltas that you can be able to see through this report. So the next report, it's our return rate report. And I would say that, first of all, we will just need to set up the time range for the reports, like type of our return rates, then analysis section, and the store that needed to be analyzed in here. And we can also deep dive into the more details, like pick up the supplier or exact brand. That depends like on what do we want to see in this report. So this report, guys, helps us to allow to compare all the product groups, suppliers, brand, different levels in the return rates. And at the category of the group level, make some decisions based or to increase or decrease the layouts based on the sales metrics. So this report contains like 2 different.
Sorry.
Okay, it's we can.
I think that we actually highlighted the main things.
It's okay. So our next one, it's layout structure. And in here, guys, yes, first of all, we will be able to see two different charts in this table. So two pie charts with the layout structure in the top of the report. It's like convenient for us to set up the analysis, different analysis. First, like a level item group, second level, like item group, supplier or brand, or what do we want to see in here. And in the bottom part of the chart, you will be able to set up and see the information about like layout with additional fields. Using the information in this table, you can restore like the history by planogram for previous periods. So this report helps us and show us to understand the structure of the layout by width in a different sections, and to analyze and perform by any date. So you can like track the history of these planograms in the table and view the planogram information for any date. So that's our layout structure report.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. I think that, yeah, for highlighting the details about the solution, and it was pretty comprehensive, and I hope that it was insightful for our webinar visitors. Just a couple of words, like to wrap up our webinar, I would like to share a couple of case studies of the implemented projects. I would say that there are around around 50 customers using this solution. So one of the customers is one of the top 10 USA regional grocery retailers. So they are present in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Texas, and Florida. They are specialized in grocery. They are pretty, they like have 25 stores with the assortment around 15,000 SKUs. So before we came with the Lifea solution, they didn't have any kind of setup process of creating the planogram. There were no people responsible for that. It was just like on the control of the store managers. So they hired the person who became responsible for the creation of the planogram and controlling all this process at all the locations. So that there's just one person who is responsible for 25 stores. And they centralized all the approach of the planogram creation. They brought it and set up it in the central office. They also have updated all the information about the dimensions, about the product pictures, with the help of like their own data gathering and with the help of the external catalog. And they, of course, this is one of the effects, they increased their performance transparency across the retail chain. So now they have analytics on all of the 25 stores, what was going on. Some they can compare like the previous state, like about the sales with the current state. And they are scaling rapidly, so they are accelerated the new store launch in terms of like from the merchandising side, from the planogram side, and instead of 14 days, it takes right now just 4.5 days to create the planogram for the whole store with a pretty like big assortment. So it's 15,000 SKUs. It's not like a small supermarket. And the other retail chain, it's one of our first customers, I would say. They bought the solution when they had just like something around 10 or 15 stores. So they know that they knew that they are going to scale rapidly, and they wanted to set up the system. They're using our replenishment solution and shelf efficiency solution. So before the solution was introduced, there were no like structure in the merchandising process, no way how to communicate the planogram to the level of the store. And right now they have 2 people responsible for the planograms. They are just like part-time, part of their time they are spending on creating the planograms, on communicating them, and part of the time they spend on ongoing analysis of the process. And now they have their possibility to control the planogram on the level of the store, so they can do it with the help of the mobile application. They communicate it through the mobile application, and afterwards they can see the result and reports in the central office. Thank you very much for taking part in this webinar. We were glad to see you all here. The recording will be shared with all of the participants, and we hope to see you during our next webinars. Wish everyone a good day.
Thank you a lot. Yeah,
thank you, Mark, for being for co-hosting this webinar with me.
Thank you a lot. Yeah, thank you guys one more time. Have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.